ziua tuturor celor care ne urmăresc pe canalul Apicultura de la Vest-Est. Dragii mei, am o noutate pentru voi și eu sunt impactat. Ia uitați-vă ce am găsit eu aici. Știți ce e asta? Și ia uitați-vă stadiul lui. E incredibil. Nu am văzut încă așa ceva. Și am ceva experiență în domeniu. Ia uitați-vă. Ce e asta, dragii mei? Salcâm? Ce e asta? Băi, imposibil. Imposibil. Da? Deci noi ne așteptăm să meargă cântarul la salcâm. Și când colo, ia uitați-vă. Ce miroase. Încolo am înflorit teiul. Da? 24 sau 25 ziua de joi. Da? Joi. 25. Partea de sus nu e înflorită, vedeți? Dar e înflorită aici în bază, ceea ce m-a șocat. Ia uitați. e 25 azi? 25. Și unde? 26? 25, joi. Nu mai știu nici în ce zi sunt. În București, dragii mei. În orașul, în București, teiul a înflorit. Da? O fi el pucios. Da? Ia să mergem la un argintiu. Ăsta este teiul pucios, dar clar a înflorit. Și acum o să mă duc la teiul argintiu. Ia uitați-vă. Ia uitați-vă ce mică are bobița asta. Ia uitați aici. Mică bobița la el. Da, deci ăsta este argintiu. Ce mă surprinde că are floare foarte frumoasă. Dar, da, lasă de gândit. Gândiți-vă că se grăbesc lucrurile. Bun. Dacă v-a plăcut, dați like. Abonați-vă. Eu vă țin la curent. Sunt la un congres internațional cu lumânări. Și o să vă filmez și mâine acolo și o să atașez ambele filme. O să revin cu filmul de la congres. Toate cele bune.
As an interviewer at the BBC, as an interviewee at the BBC, he has been featured in both Forbes and the Harvard Business Review, which I know all of us read. And in his debut book, Energize, was published by Penguin in 2022 and became an instant bestseller, recommended by people like Simon Sinek, who we talk a lot about when we talk about JCI. So, no further intros needed. I know you've been waiting for this. Please, let me introduce Simon Alexander Ong.
So it was the summer of 2005. I just finished my second year of university. It was at the London School of Economics, and I'm spending my summer holidays at home in East Malaysia, where my extended family live. To be precise, it was in my uncle's home. I was upstairs in his bedroom. I was logging on to the university's website to check my exam results. I did 4 exams that year, and I was praying that I would make it through to the final year of my university. As I logged on and scrolled to my exam results, I saw that I had failed in 3 of the 4 modules. Now, just to make things a little more tense for me, downstairs in the kitchen, my uncle, my aunt, my dad, and my other relatives were there with a bucket of ice with a bottle of champagne in there. Glasses ready to celebrate my stellar exam results. I froze in that moment, my hands sweating, thinking, what am I going to go and tell them? That I found my second year and I need you to help invest in a reset in order to finish my degree. 20 minutes later, after lots of back and forth in my mind what I was about to say, I walked down the stairs. Before I uttered a single word, they knew that it was going to be bad news. I didn't have to tell them. They saw from my body language that they were about to hear bad news. That was a very dark moment of my life, and I felt ashamed. Many people from my culture, we do well academically. We go to good schools, we get well-paying jobs, but here was someone who was a blemish, who had failed their second year of university, and how were my parents going to see and share that information to their friends and family? My son has found his second year and is going to consider. In that moment, I remember a conversation I had with my dad, and to give you a bit of a visual, my dad has the same haircut as me, obviously older, and he looks a little like the Dalai Lama. So much so that when he went on a business trip to Trinidad and Tobago, he stepped out, he held a taxi down. Before he got in, after he put his suitcases in the boot, he couldn't see the driver. So he goes around to the other side, and he saw that the driver was on his hands and his knees laying out some red carpet, or to be more precise, a red towel, onto the floor, saying, "Welcome, Your Holiness." So I remember asking my dad, what does success mean? My dad said to me, "Simon, when you graduate, if you end up landing a job as a banker, a lawyer, a doctor, or an accountant," can anybody relate to that? "Then you'll be successful. You will have a well-paying job, you can get yourself promoted, you can build your career, and then you can decide what you want to do with your life." Now, having seen films such as Wall Street, Boiler Room, and Trading Places, banking was the one that I knew the most about. And so in the middle of 2007, after I graduated from university, finally, I managed to go back, finish my time there. I decided I was going to start in the financial services industry. But if you cast your mind back to what happened the year after, it was probably the worst possible time to do so. The year after I joined, it was the global financial crisis, and just to make things a little more interesting, the company I started with was Lehman Brothers, which collapsed into administration 14 months after I joined. I ended up being in and out of jobs within the financial services sector for nearly 10 years before I got to do what I do now. Part of me, even in that journey, was saying to myself, maybe this is a sign from the universe. Maybe I wasn't meant to be employed. I couldn't hold down a job for more than a couple of years. While it was a challenging journey, in hindsight, it was a beautiful blessing in disguise. Because the financial crisis kick-started the longest journey that we as humans make. The inches from our heads to our hearts. Never an easy journey, but the most important and fulfilling that you will ever embark on. And as I started to go inwards, I realized that what I lacked, the reason I felt directionless, the reason that I felt exhausted, was because I didn't have a personal vision for myself. I came across the story of Bruce Lee, somebody I looked up to from Chinese culture as I grew up. Not for his martial arts, however, for his philosophical teachings. There was a story that showed that in 1969, Bruce was unknown to the world. He was struggling financially at a time when he faced many challenges. He had his second child born. The one show, The Green Hornet, that he had a supporting role in, lasted just one season. He felt he was destined for more, that there was so much he could give to the world, that there was a story inside of him waiting to be told. So one morning, he wakes up early. He goes to his desk, pulls out a sheet of paper. He stamps the word secret at the top and bottom. And he writes the title, My Chief Definite Aim. On this piece of paper, he scribes the following words. I, Bruce Lee, will be the highest paid Oriental superstar in the United States. In return, I will deliver the most exciting performances in my capacity as an actor. Beginning 1970, I will be world famous, and from then until the end of the decade, I will have in my possession $10 million. I will live a happy life with the ones that I love and share what I've learned with the world. He took that piece of paper, he folded it, kept it in his pocket so he could see it every single day. What he was doing was programming deep into his subconscious a blueprint of the exact future he wanted. This would be the foundation for him making quantum leaps in his professional career. A year later, on his return to Hong Kong, he very quickly discovered that one TV show, The Green Hornet, was a runaway success. And his supporting role was the one that everyone enjoyed. In fact, in Hong Kong, it wasn't called The Green Hornet, it was called The Kato Show. He was the star of the show. And as soon as he landed, he had studio bosses all across studios in Hong Kong clamoring for his signature. Bruce, we want to star in our film. Bruce, we want to build a series around you. And so was born films like The Way of the Dragon, Fist of Fury. Those two films together generated more than $250 million at the box office. It shot him to worldwide fame. So much so that Warner Brothers came calling. They asked Bruce to direct and star in his own film to bring martial arts to the Western world. That film was Enter the Dragon. Now, what I took from that story when I came across it was the importance of having clarity of direction, of beginning with the end in mind, as the late Stephen Covey would write in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So what I did when the financial crisis happened, when I was out of a job, just like Bruce, I took a step back, took a blank sheet of paper out, and the two questions that got me thinking were, number one, what did success mean to me? Number two, what sort of impact do I want to have in the world? Now here's why these two questions are important. Number one, what does success mean to me? When you look at society around us, the reason why many of us are exhausted is not because we're physically doing too much, but because one, we are doing too little of the things that bring us joy, and number two, we're often running someone else's race. What sort of impact do you want to have in the world? That question is important, because our value as humans is determined by how much more we have given to the world than we have taken from it. So what I did is I started scribing. I started writing down everything that came to my mind. What did success look like for me? It got me wanting to go out into the world and explore. You see, before this moment, my days were filled working long hours alongside people in finance. I would go drinking with people in finance. After work on weekends, I would spend time with people in finance. I was in very much of a bubble. And I realized that there was so much more outside of this bubble that I had to explore. But vision is where it started. And then I realized that in order to make the progress I wanted, I had to then build my future around not just those answers that I came across, but also my energy. And this is where we move into the idea of energy management. Alicia Bernardi, the CEO and founder of the PR relations firm Nardi Media.
Așa sunt aceste conferințe, poți să se împrești cu ce vrei, cafea, cappuccino, masă liberă, oameni frumoși, sări. Mergem dincolo, aici va fi o altă ședință despre business, da, de la 11. Bun, dacă v-a plăcut, dați like, abonați-vă și vorba mea, Dumnezeu, până vedem.